Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Benjamin. For those of you who know me, I'm the Buffett investor. So in today's video, I'm actually going to cover on this question that a lot of people ask me is that Ben, what is the difference between ETF and also index fund? Right, so just to let everyone to understand, ETF is actually known as an exchange traded fund, right? So I think this was also a new concept ETF that come out in the recent years, whereby you're able to buy into exchange traded fund that is holding to a basket of it could be following the indexes and things like that. But it's almost as though it's trading on the the stock market, right? And the difference in index fund is actually is more of a benchmark that's also tracking the index, in the trying to mirror the index in the market. So essentially, that's actually the first to begin with. That's the two difference, right? And also in terms of the when we talk about in terms of ETF and also the index fund is in terms of the timing as well. The ETF you're able to buy within the trading day itself, whereas for index fund typically it's only when they transact is at the end of the day, right? And for index fund you can in ETF you can actually buy off any of the brokerage and things like that. Usually for index fund then you actually have to go through a fund manager, and that explains why usually for a ETF you only need to pay probably the brokerage fees, which if you use any of assuming it's a US ETF, then you only incur if you buy from interactive brokers only I think like $10, right, per or even less than that, $1 per trade, and then or even right now in the market it's even zero commission, right? So it can be as low as that. Whereas if you actually buy index fund, you actually have to go to buy off a fund manager, and typically they will have a lot of loading or even management fees. So it's very expensive. Whereas for if you buy ETF, it's much cheaper, right? Even less than 0.5%, even less than that, right? That's one of the main things. And of course, for in terms of the transaction, definitely if you buy in terms of the speed, right? If you buy it actually through the brokerage ETF, it tends to be much faster, right? To transact across your trade. Whereas if you actually buy index fund, normally if it's done only at the end of the day, and then that's why there's lots of lag time in that sense as well, right? So hopefully, also adding on is from my understanding, probably we also have to do a bit of research. Is that sometimes I think for ETF, in terms of the minimal, I think the what do you call that? In terms of investment is also much lower compared to index fund. If you buy it from a fund manager, probably depending on which funds that managers you're actually getting it from, the in terms of the what do you call that? The amount of investment, initial investment put in, also can be quite high. So I think these are just some of the things to take note of. Of course, end of the day, essentially, if you have to look at it, what I always go for is in terms of whichever method, end of the day, we want to track and mirror the index, right, of the market. I always stress is always look at in terms of your reducing your fees and expenses, right, expense ratios, reducing your commission fees and brokerage fees, because all of this in the long run is actually going to eat into the returns. And we already know that by actually going into a broad market index ETF or index fund, we already just want to to set our expectations right. We already wanted to just move and even to gain the returns just in line with the market and not exceeding. And having said that, it means that every percentage point, or things, or in terms of the fees that we can reduce, will really do a lot for us in terms of the long run. So I hope in today's video you have picked up the difference between an ETF, which is an exchange traded fund, versus a normal index fund, and you can actually decide for yourself which will be a good way to go about it. So I hope if you have learned something in this video, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.